Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Marie Nyinambo. I'm one of the Liberia Traditional Musical Award nominees. You guys vote for me out there. See you in Liberia. I know you will vote for me because I have my fan down there. Vote for me. See you.
Of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. Stay tuned. As very shortly, we're going to get this program on the way here from the Newfoundland bureaus of the Liberia Public Radio. Thank you for being part of this program as usual. We will soon get this program on the way. I'm Francis and so of the Liberia Public Radio. Good evening to want to welcome all of our listeners and want to apologize. Sometimes these things are technical issues. So, notwithstanding, we are here this evening. We'll do the best we can try to bring you this program. And we, as usual, we will make you to feel this program right on the way here very shortly. As usual, we're gonna be having you here as well to form part of this program. Please do me a favor, if our audio is if it is well audible, please just let us know. Good evening, folks. Welcome to today's program. I'm Alfonso Z and Sot of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. Thank you for being at our company here this evening, as usual. Here to bring you news, information, and entertainment right here from the Diaspora Internet Giant Station. It's good to be part of this program here, as usual. We always bring you news, information, and entertainment. Well, today is Tuesday, and it's the regular the forum edition. Just give me a thumbs up if my audio is perfect. Sometimes it looks good from our end, but you, our listening audience, it's good that you are satisfied whatever we are doing to get a feedback. So if I'm getting a good audio, for those of you that are listening, just give me a thumbs up. That will shows an indicator as my audio is perfect. We want to welcome you, and I couldn't be here on Sunday as usual. That was another community engagement. We're in a major meeting in the neighboring Bay state of Flemington, like 40 minutes away here. And something great happened. We continue to be called to serve as part of the community initiative. During that meeting, it started around 4 o'clock. I could not get back in time to get the program going. But by the grace of God, through our colleagues, we were unanimously on the white ballot, I would say, elected as the president of the New England chapter of the Associations of Liberian Journalists based here in the USA. So, thank you so much, Manzola Gisi. Were elected as presidents of the New England chapter of the Associations of Liberian Journalists based here in the USA. I want to take this time to say thanks to my colleagues, the national president for his support, President Joe Masons of Minnesota, and all of my colleagues right here within the New England veteran journalist Ellison Zenant, the golden voice. Those days you used to hear it on the state radio. Formerly it was ELWA and then went to ELBC. He served as the public relations directors or officer to the Liberian National Police during the managing when Olivia Shannon was managing director of the Liberia Broadcasting Corporation. He said, no, Allison, that voice it belongs into this network. And that's how he was pulled over to a veteran Joe Ted of the Liberian News Agency, Simo Mapayot, and all of these great guys. Roland Brown used to work at senior photographer for Juliet Bryan, all of those folks, and I am grateful. And part of that is to keep the professionalism of this network into place. And we will be talking that. But in the meantime, we want to welcome all of our viewers and listeners across the globe for being part of this program as usual. Well, this event, as usual, we will always, as usual, will allow you to participate into our program. That's part of what we do here, to allow you to be part of what we always discuss as well. That's the President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Dr. George Manont Weah. Is the President of the Republic of Liberia. As usual, he's our country president. We might have political differences and here and there, but we must acknowledge because he was overwhelmingly voted into office. Well, I believe in the third week, the State of Union of the President will be coming, but now the Vice President, the Principal Deputy to the President, Madam Joy Howatella, is also speaking out in the nation's capital of Monrovia, Ladbenton Fording. So, I will be bringing a special person here, the Liberal Progressive of the Liberia Public Radio, Samson Brown Toh. He had that excellent program. That's my first time seeing the Blockoo being on fire. My goodness. I know he slept last night crazy after that program. But he's a very decent man, and he's he's the godfather of this network. I've never seen a very humble and decent gentleman. He's joining me now via Skype on the line from the Sacramento Bureau of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. Samson Brown Toh, are you there?
Yes, I am, Mr. Soul. I hope I'm audible enough.
Loud and audible. Okay, there we have it. Is the Liberal Progressive of the Liberia Public Radio, Samson Blockoo Brown Toh. Let me see here before I know him very well. Anytime I bring this guy, he always in the habit to intimidate me. There you go. This is the problem that I always have with him. Sometimes I don't, but you know what? Let's lead that. Okay, the Liberal Progressive, good to be here with me this evening. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you, Mr. So we appreciate it, and whatever we have to do to get things going, to enlighten our folks, brothers and sisters in the diaspora, and of course across the globe, we don't mind doing that. And thank you for inviting us this evening.
Yeah. All right. Let me start that. Yesterday program, it was quite amazing. You flow like a river flowing from the bank offshore and trying to weather. Um, what did you learn yesterday? I was monitoring and I was hearing some fascinating questions, but the tolerance that you exercise during that program, that was quite amazing. What was the most
Yes.
important thing you took away from your program yesterday?
Well, what I gathered from people, folks that were calling from both sides of the aisle, if there's such thing, what I gather is that it's going to take us a little bit time, Mr. So, to be honest with you, for us to be able to bridge this huge divide that is now becoming widening and widening as much as it's been in the last few years. However, we Liberians, I also believe that we have the magic wine because that is our country. And whatever it is that we're going to be discussing, whether we agree with each other or not, as long we allow civility to take control of our discussion, we will be successful. And as a result of last night's program, of course, we have a huge audience, of course. But one of the things that I was very impressed with last night is that folks that were calling, in as much as it was emotionally involved from their standpoint, and they were able to engage each other without going over the line, so to speak. So I was very impressed last night, to be honest with you, with my brothers and sisters.
Hmm. All right, that's great. I want to welcome, as usual, our man Manzola Gisi from the Annex 8 of the Liberia Public Radio. He's also the host of Party Time and Dancing with Jesus. And welcoming Ambassador Terufo S. Dan. He's also in this business, having his own pack. He has very informative and stuff like that. Okay, I'm getting a signal here from the station manager, Nightcrab Port, monitoring, making sure that the block doesn't go off track here this evening. We try to retire this guy here. He still don't want to face retirement. These are the people that are keeping the politics of Liberia still going. All right, thank you so much, Nat, for that signal there. We want to make sure everything is perfect. By the way, before I bring in the block, you can also go to YouTube and look in the search engines and type in Liberia Public Radio. Is the LPROTI TV channel is also there. It's perfect. The audio, you're going to see everything live and clear. Just go to YouTube search box and type in Liberia Public Radio, and you will watch everything live. We are doing everything possible we can and update the upgrade on the software now that allowing us to use Skype, to use what they call rendezvous. We can bring as many people as we want to, as long we have that. Thanks to the management, and the Liberal Progressive is no exception of that because he was harassing me to make sure to get this thing done. Okay, so Samson, let me bring you in here. The president will be speaking to the nation very shortly. The president will be speaking to the nation. What are you looking at? And also go on the official website of the Liberia Public Radio, www.liberiapublicradio.com. In the address box, you're going to see LPR TV Live. Look, we are going explosive and a lot to be done with the Liberal Progressive and Nakrite and Manzola, all of these supportive group behind the network and the folks in Liberia. Also go on the official website. You're going to see www.liberiapublicradio.com. I want to welcome our man James Double right here in the Ocean State. Is one of our donors of the Liberia Public Radio. So when we see these people who are doing the extraordinary job, we got to organize the incoming manager to be Josephine Crypoor. Who want to fire the manager? She said no, she can't take it. But okay, back to the issue here this evening. Mr. Toll, the president, the State of the Union is coming. What is your own anticipation? Recently, the president, just before the protests and the international community, when the intervention came in, his pledge was the protesters or COP should wait for the State of Union. Even though they never waited, they jumped ahead. Can we still factor that in as the core message of the president to come during the State of the Union? Is that something we can still bank on?
Thank you, Mr. So. And this is a very easy one, to be honest with you, because I think the president has within him to bring all Liberians together. First of all, I truly believe that the president must recognize that things are not as doozy as people seem to make and to be. Now, if the president will listen to Liberians and consider himself not just Dr. Weir, but the president and the father of the nation as he is, then I think he will do well. Because as a father of a nation, as a father of kids, and I consider myself as such, because he's like the father of the nation, so therefore he is my father, my president. And but in other words, for if you're father of the children in a house, you tend to want to pay attention to what it is that they're doing. If there's so much demand, and let's go back to the government. There's so much demand from the citizenry themselves asking the government for certain issue. I believe you have to listen. And then once again, I want people to understand that in order for us, all of us to be successful, we have to try to separate the messenger. I'm saying it again tonight. The messenger from the message that is coming through. And many Liberians are not quite satisfied with this administration and the CDC government. Now, if the president is going to give a speech, and then I believe the most likely going to happen after their retreat or whatever, they need to actually go back, go back to the inaugural speech, and I will advise all of them to have the president to listen to his own inaugural speech. It wasn't long, maybe an hour, 2 hours at most.
Are you, not to interrupt you, are you saying that the president should rehearse over the inaugural to bring into reality
no,
of
no,
what is
not
happening today, or what?
rehearse, yes, but what the reason I'm asking him to go back to the inaugural speech, because there's lots of things from that inaugural speech that perhaps he can bring into this one that will satisfy many Liberians. Because remember now, Mr. So I was at the ground
Are those compatible with what we are talking today in the politics of Liberia? Because I will bring you in. Let's bear in mind during the inaugural, that was the early stages of the president, that he was so beloved overwhelmingly, that excitement was there, but the game seems to be changing right now. So bringing that into this, would that buy people would listen to that, or what specifically you trying to say?
I'm not suggesting that he goes and rehash the inaugural speech and bring it. No, but to listen to himself. And why so many Liberians, after the inaugural speech, why so many Liberians gravitated towards him? And the fight here is, first of all, is the tone of the inaugural speech. And this is the time now to bring the tone, to ration the heat that is going on in the country. Be the grown up in the room. Put up this fire, Mr. President. Speak to us. And this is the perfect time. The tone of the speech will then give us a platform that perhaps we can gauge the next episode of his presidency. And to be honest with you, like I said, he has it within him. He can come.
Can he do it? The question is, can he do it?
Oh yes. This president has the ability to do that. This president has the ability to turn things around. Mr. So, please, just remember who we're talking about. We're talking about Dr. Weir. This is not somebody who is somebody from Total or Johnny Khan lately. This man has been involved, has been in the eyes of many Liberians. Remember, the generation of Liberians are younger, and most of them have grown up with Dr. Weir. So he has the ability to turn this thing around, to turn it around. And whatever people are saying about him, they might be viewed as negative, but for me, those are things that are truthful. These people are bringing out things that the president can fix. Nothing here is on that the president cannot fix.
Of course, we are all human beings, people, but turning things around, that requires an ultimate sacrifice that the president has to make. There will be some concessions along the way. There are so many things within the last 1 year going to 2 years of its presidency, within that proximity, a lot of things has happened. So that's what Liberian, that's you, that's what I'm looking for. That's what my emphasis is being placed this evening. Is that something he willing to do? Will he make some concession to the demands of the opposition or the COP? Is that something we want to do? Do you think he's going to address some of those issues?
Mr. So, I believe that's the area that I'm leading. I'm not saying the president should kowtow to people, no. But the fact that the Liberians are requesting certain things to be done. First of all, the hardship in terms of monetary issue in Liberia is true and it's difficult. Second, Liberians, workers, government workers, are not getting paid on time. I hope that has been
But
changed.
but yeah, but to some extent, some officials of the government, and I don't think the president has come up vividly to admit to these things and say, "Look, folks, hold on. There are difficult times in everyone's life, and does include the country." But I have not seen that sort of true confection coming out of
My,
the government. And their playbook, their red meat is different. So the question now becomes: will these things be admitted at this time?
Mr. So, I do agree with you that in this situation, the government has not fared well in terms of dealing and responding to Liberian demand and dealing and responding to Liberian questions, questioning what is going on in the country. The president have not come out to speak to his children, so to speak. The only speaking that he has done is in a church house, and when he did it in a church house, he was complaining instead of like trying to how to call it, ease the situation. He also was presenting complaints to the Liberian people. For example, he stated, "You have people
Was
cussing me.
Is
You
that a
have
workable
people that,"
strategy to complain in the house of God? Was that a
and
workable
that's the
strategy?
point.
Is
And
that why you see, do you see that's why you see filing his appealing to the nation to a perfect venue? You think?
no, no, because the president, he's not a dumb person. He's a very smart guy, and he has noticed that Liberian did not gravitate toward his complaint. In fact, if anything, people are saying to the president, "Man up! You are the father of this nation. Nothing should move you. You turn to us and make us feel that you are producing." And I think the president is going to deliver, Mr. So.
Deliver. Someone listening up there said that is vague. It's an open-ended basket. What
Well,
sort of
Mr.
deliverance do you anticipate to see the president? What are some of?
I,
Let's put
I,
aside. Let's put out the government of being the Liberian and nationalistic and nationalist, right? What are you looking for in that speech when the president takes the podium to address the nation? It's quite a long while he has not done that. What are you looking for? What are some of the pieces and parcels that you are
one,
targeting?
one of the things that I will hope the president will talk about is, first of all, is the security situation that is heightening Liberians all over the world.
Mm.
To say, I hope that he has these things under control, number one. Second, whatever that is happening within and out of Liberia that is causing all of these issues with many Liberians, those specific topics must be addressed. For example, the protester and the COP. I'm not too sure if we consider them opposition, but I think they're doing much more better job than the opposition. However, these are people that are speaking for millions and millions of Liberians, thousands of Liberians. Well, 4 point something, so I said millions and millions. That too. But anyhow, let's go on. These people speaking for many Liberians, and things I continue to say is things they talk about. They are not making anything up. For example, they're asking the president, what is the result now? Where are we with this $16 billion? They're asking the president, where are we with the $25 million map up? We know all of these things were not quite done in a way that Liberian will be certified. What happened with the asset declaration? All of these things are not something far-fetched. Those are things that the president, if he's not going to address all of them, but make Liberian feel that he understand and he listening to the people. That's all most people want in this conversation. Is for the president to demonstrate, I'm listening to you and I hear you. Perhaps I'm working on these
What
things
has
that might not
been
be
what
done
has
right away, but
what
I'm listening to you.
what has been the delay of all of it? Don't you think this is something that should have been done in the past, and it would have put to rest all of these hard tensions, discourse, and the
Mr. So,
COP and all of that.
let us, and many of your audience might not agree with me on this
Oh no, I
statement.
mean, and that's the beauty of this
Let me,
network. Yeah, people have the
I'm not
ability to express their views
exactly.
and
I'm not
opinion.
concerned with that. I know who I am. I know where I stand, so I'm not quite concerned with that. However, this is what I want people to understand as well.
Mm.
Doctor, we have never been president of the Republic of Liberia. Never. This is the first.
Mm.
Okay. So the point here is this: we Liberians must be able to understand that this president
That seems to be
will
a
be.
somebody might be thinking, hey, wait a minute. So, is that something we must see as what, a sort of
No, no,
leeway because he has
we
not
have to
been?
be sincere. We have to be sincere. Dr. Weir is not coming in with a magic wand that he touched anything and it turns to gold. We shouldn't expect those things. We should be sincere with ourselves in our demand and now in our request, in our conversation with the president. We have to be sincere and we have to be truthful. And I think this is what many Liberians continue to do. And that's why I'm asking the president to demonstrate to the Liberian people, not necessarily giving everything people asking for. But first thing is that demonstrate to the Liberian people that you are listening and you are hearing what they're saying. That doesn't mean that you agree with it or you're going to respond immediately. But the fact that you telling the Liberian people your cry, your request, your daily suffering, I can see. I'm not in a mansion and in a bubble as Samson too, and the rest of the people continue to say, I can see I'm working on it. And let him demonstrate the ability to be empathy to the people, to have some sort of a sympathy to what the Liberian people are going through. The reason I'm saying this is that Dr. Weir didn't come from anywhere else except for Gibraltar. So you know exactly when you were growing up, when there's no food in the house, you know what your mom was going through. You know what your parent
Do
was
we
going
need
through.
to remind?
Going through. So this is the same thing that is happening now to many, many Liberians. So Dr. Weir has to put himself back into Gibraltar. And that way he will be able to understand the plight of the people.
He needs to be reminded of that. His root. Is that something we need to say? Is that something we need
It's
to
the
talk?
soul. Let us also understand that power can be addictive. Let us don't fool ourselves. Okay? So Dr. Weir and his people, having had 12 years of constant drumbeat of trying to improve, trying to ask the former government to improve the lives of the people of the Republic of Liberia. Now the opportunity has given them, and things are not going the way they want, the people expected. So now Dr. Weir can come out and say, I understand. Perhaps the first 2 years was a mistake. Or even if he doesn't come out to say it was a mistake, but the first year didn't go too well.
Not to intercept you, is it important to admit that some of the wrongs and some of the policies?
Yes. To certify many Liberians, Dr. Weir must first of all understand and accept responsibility of all of the things that are going wrong in Liberia because it's on his watch.
But the excuse game by this president has been by this administration, not just only the president, because there are some folks the president brought in, fair to mention, to help the president. But their help has been more painful, more rough, retweeting the message, not keeping the objective of what they call pro-poor agenda. That has not been well. So what becomes of those also that are playing the soundbites of the administration?
Mr. So, this is where the leadership ability of Dr. Weir will shine through. Then most people will say, wow, where that come from? We didn't expect this out of Dr. Weir. You will find out that this leadership, remember, Mr. So, and I'm not trying to play around this thing here. Remember, before Dr. Weir became politician, he used to play football. What was his position? Striker, number 9. Somebody who scored for the team to make the fan happy.
Is he getting no winning goals? The winning goals, are they coming now?
Mr. So, let me finish it. So, Dr. Weir clearly understand how and when and what he needs to do to make Liberian happy once more. He has that under control. There is no question asked. However, those, as you correctly stated, there are certain group of Liberians that are serving the president. And for me, those most of the people have decided instead of
Somebody listening might say that you have labored a certain group of people, and this kind of brings me into mind when this whole thing started. You sent out a line that if the president is to succeed, do not allow this president to be placed into a bubbles. It seems to me that bubbles is already within that corridor.
Mr. So, and I'm going to be a little bit ridiculous here, and I think your audience is not going to be turning against me. That's fine. That's who I am. I'm Blaku. Yeah, let's take one step. When I used to make that statement, I also used to say, if we're not careful, Dr. Weir is going to be put in a bubble. And here's the reason. When Dr. Weir was running, trying to be president, many educated Liberians, the man know nothing. The man are former player. Why you gonna do it? Oh, you can't do nothing. And there was certain group of Liberians who were then scratching their palm and calling Dr. Weir, come to Papa, we will help you. And so those are the people now that Dr. Weir gravitated to. And then when he got there, now they got him in a bubble. The interesting thing is, my opinion, these people do not have anything to offer to the general public of population of Liberia, except to offer for themselves. However, they have now shown to Dr. Weir that we can help you. These are your enemies. They continue to identify enemies of the state. They continue to lead Dr. Weir to make statement that is not quite conducive. How, for example, why is it in this 2020 that you will come up and bring up Concord and country business this time around? No, that is completely out of context. There is no country Concord business. Those that continue to argue, they don't understand the reality of Liberia nowadays. You have Liberians that are so sophisticated, young Liberians, and they don't care if you're Congo or country. One of the questions that I want to ask your audience, if they're hungry, those that are hungry in Liberia right now, do you know whether hunger go after Congo people or go after country people? Hunger doesn't know who you are. If you're hungry, you're hungry. If you don't have anything, you don't. It doesn't matter who you are. So at this point, to bring up Congo and country, I think perhaps is way above everything else.
Who can abolish that, Mr. To? Who do you think can execute some sort of order to abolish, to undo that? Because bear in mind, during the heat of the campaign, that was a kind of rare meat. That was a sort of trumpet the Eugene Fagon used to get him to be where he is today.
Well, I'm not going to inject Eugene Fagon into this beautiful topic this Tuesday afternoon, because I don't want to even touch his name on this, to be honest with you, because I'm trying to make some sense here that at least people would see that I'm very serious. So I don't want to inject Eugene Fagon into this. Now, in politics, you've been around. Most of the time, when you're running a campaign, you make some statements trying to divide, because you divide in Congo. That's politics.
That's a game of politics. No, little child don't get into politics anyway.
Yeah, but once you have been elected, they have something they call pivot, where you now, before you were on the side, but you turn now and say, first thing, I'm Dr. Weir, President of the Republic of Liberia. I am your president, whether you voted for me or not. Well, let's come together and let's work together. I'll give you an example. Quite recently, the CDC-led government, they said they were going to host some sort of a conference, economic conference. What has happened to that? There were people that were there, they could be intelligent, intellectual, highly educated Liberians. They were there, they presented their whatever position statement they had. Nothing have come out of it. Those are the kinds of stuff that we must address this coming time, so that people will know that he's very, very serious. And let us not fool ourselves. He was elected, duly elected, 61.5%, no question asked. He's going to have to finish his term. In the process, he must think about his legacy. He's not president for CDC. He's not president for Moserado County. He's not president for Monrovia. He's president for every Liberian. From Grand Cape County going all the way up Norfolk County, coming all the way down to Maryland, coming all the way back to Grand Caymar County. That's entire region is called Liberia, if people don't know that. And that is the country Dr. Weah is leading. And I hope he will lead all of us.
Well, folks, I'm Alfonso Zensort of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. I'm here today with the Liberal Progressive of this network. Samson Blaku Brownto is in Studio B in Sacramento, California here. Okay, so let's pivot the game here. This is, as you know, when it comes to Liberia Public Radio, no ground is safe. Be it the government, be it the oppositions, or those in the advocacy community. I want to welcome Madam Sobat, is president of National System. So the oppositions, let's go inside the rank and file of the opposition. When I'm talking about opposition, I'm talking about the registered political parties that contested last election. Mr. Toll, bring me to the point here. Are these parties alive or dead?
Mr. So, that's a very simple question. If Dr. Weah and the CDC government, if they change right now, this opposition stand no chance. They have nothing to offer. And people have
What is the intensity of the change you want them to see if they can still be in the spotlight?
Yes,
what would be the intensity of that change?
Let's suppose, and I'm going to be very ridiculous right now. Let's suppose Dr. Weah and his people decide to play deaf ear to all of the cries of the Liberian 2 years before election. And Dr. Weah and his people are able to find the courage and bring out one big project that impact the lives of Liberians for 6-7 months. The election over. Because the opposition, first of all, you call them opposition, you think they're together? Watch. Which one of these opposition leaders will want to take the back seat? Every one of them want to be president. Sooner or later, by the time election comes, we're going to get 22. In fact, I'm going to put my name in and bring this time around.
There you go. There you go.
Here's what I want Dr. Weah and his people to look at is the COP and this young man called Henry Costa. This is exactly the organization COP and Henry Costa. So it's a bigger challenge for the government. As far as the opposition is concerned, they're nothing. They can't even win. Forget total. One-play election. None of them can win one-play election, Mr. So. But COP and Henry Costa, these are people the government must pay attention to.
And I hope they will find time to talk to all. And that's a very disappointing aspect. Both the government, the opposition, they have become so selective which network to go to talk because maybe they are avoiding some tough questions. Let's draw the file line here. The COP and the opposition, and you injected the name Henry Costa, the political commentator, who more or less have gained some sort of spotlight and is in different contexts, different interpretation, depending who you talk to. Do you see him as a person that will be a force to reckon with or be a sort of deal breaker within the rank and file of the opposition? And the reason I'm saying that, I don't even know the difference with that of the COP and the opposition. You have the executives of Liberty Party, your party, your Liberty Party, your party that's been in existence for quite a long time now. We're talking about Unity Party. We're talking about United People's Parties and all of these parties that constitutes the opposition. Do you see Henry Costa to be the deal breaker, using his voice, his talents, and his persuasion to people that have pivoted against him so hugely, speaking on some of those things that I feel that the opposition is not talking about?
Mr. So, when it comes to Costa and this government, my opinion that is, one of the things I think the government should be on their knee and praising God at this time when it comes to Henry Costa, to be specific, is that the young man is still trying to educate himself. And they are setting certificate, degrees, and papers that he wants to obtain. If it hasn't been for that, if Henry Costa have gotten the kind of degree he wants, Henry Costa is not doing, I don't believe he's doing this thing just because he won a degree, but the certain aspect of his life he wants to fulfill.
No, but he made it crystal clear he wants to be a representative 2023.
If it hasn't been for that, the government will have to be forced to deal with Henry Costa. Now, here's the scary part why Henry Costa is trying to fulfill whatever dream he has when it comes to better him, putting himself at a level. I'm not too sure what level he wants to be on now, because as far as I'm concerned, he has a very good level, but he's a human being. He wants to attain certain image, let's put it that way. So that's good for him. In the process of doing this, Henry Costa is evolving, and that is if the government would not pay attention to this, then the government going to lose to Henry Costa. Henry Costa is evolving. Can you imagine Henry Costa, who would say, you know what, I'm not here about myself. I'm here, whatever God wants to use me. And if he continue to evoke the name of God in this, sooner or later, it's going to take root within him, in his spirit. And once that happens, and people becomes to notice that he's very genuine when it comes to things of God. And he start caring, not just talking for me and talking for everyone, but he start taking the prayer lines, many Liberian prayer line, to make sure he expressed the will of the people. Well, the government, I tell you, Mr. So, if they know what Sansinto know, they better start dealing and try to diffuse whatever situation they have with Henry Costa. Because at this point, if they want to make Henry Costa an enemy of the state, they're failing. They're already failing, but they will fail big time, bigly, as what's his name, Donald Trump would say. They will fail bigly. And so for me, I will hope that the government, a member of this government, many of them have had dealing with Henry Costa before. But what they must know is that the Henry Costa they used to deal with before is not the Henry Costa of today. Simple as that. Simple. And here's the other scary thing. Henry Costa continued to elevate himself, not only in the eyes of international community, but the mere fact that he's now wrapping himself into the Bible. Oh, okay, my God.
Hold on, let me stop you right there. I saw the video clip you played yesterday. And that's another way of Liberians for people to empathize. Okay, he's saying it, but one thing, will he walk the walk? His utterance, some of his comments are ridiculous, and his supporters, it reminds me of Donald Trump. There are certain places in those swing states, when he goes there, he makes some ridiculous statement. He tweet. Costa, he's speaking on some issues, but I think he needs some sort of help in the sense of some sort of guidance.
Can you imagine Henry Costa now, instead of a firebomb, who throws firebomb and what have you? And
how long would that ceasefire hold, Mr. To, you think?
Mr. So, here's what I want you to know. Apparently, you didn't watch Henry Costa's show today. Clearly not.
No, I didn't.
He stated, and this I'm being very serious. Those of all who believe in God, I'm not saying you, I said me, believe in God. The statement he made today.
I'm not a believer of God, Samson. We are having a beautiful conversation. You are trying to go against the over the rail line.
I will keep it civil. You are a believer of God as well.
Don't go there. We try to get this a civil discussion. You are a liberal. I'm a different type of person. But we are managed to find a common ground.
You're conservative. You're led to suppress people's idea. So I will keep it civil. But on a very serious note, Mr. So, on Costa's show this morning, this is what he listed. He didn't name people, but he said, and Costa, like I've always said, and I told you guys before, when he got into this thing, it was in my opinion, basically he was there for population. And then when the folks started talking through him, old lady talking through him and telling him, son, just by talking to you today, I'm going to go home. Whether I eat or not, I'm 65-year-old, I'm 80-year-old, but whether I eat or not today, the fact that I've talked to you, I will be happy. Once the voice started taking root in Costa, it was done. Here's the thing when Costa talked about this morning. He said there were certain people, certain preacher, he didn't call name, that gave him some prediction. And when he went home, he saw this prophecy to be specific. When he went home, those things became real. And that have changed his mind with respect to God. Now, Costa is even insisting. He also gave you a story There was a guy when they suspended the December 30th protest. He said there was a guy that was so upset when he was saying some stuff, and this is the statement he made, and I'm paraphrasing. If this was Costa a long time ago, that was going to be a different issue. But this is a new Costa, and he even asked this guy to forgive him. And when the guy found out what he did was not that bad, he also decided to forgive Costa. So, and Costa is now even asking people of Rufus Neville to be back into the COP. Asking the chairman of Unity, former chairman of Unity Party, who's been suspended, asking to come. So if Costa continue to lay the groundwork of peace.
So yeah, okay. And I want to go back here, and I want to admit here, I didn't listen to that here, but that sounds like a conciliatory statement too. Am I only concerned whether the ceasefire will hold? And if it does, that would be a serious problem, because what is happening now, you remember I said this here the other day when Unity Party, Aaron Pay, came up with that statement, disassociating himself or the party. We don't know whether that statement came from the executive, but now we're seeing Joseph Boycott. There seems to be some sort of little bit inside thing. Now Costa is inciting, which is a very clever thing to do. We say, okay, when the Unity Party not need you, whatever thing, we still here. Whatever you did, we can let bygone to be bygone. That put into Unity Party under the predicament, and Boycott, I don't know. He's still...
No, I don't. And this is what I've always said about Costa. And I will make a show here one day about Costa. That before Costa newfound...
What is the significance of that, the liberal progressive? You have made a show always. Is it a public relation aspect you're trying to conduct for Henry Costa?
Public relation from something to for Costa, please. Yes, Costa doesn't need any public relation. All Costa have to do is open his podcast, and public relation is done. So that's not for it. But the point that I want to make here is this: Costa, as for me, my opinion, Costa has always been respectful. That's one thing I know. Okay.
When you say respectful, in what context? Respectful.
He's always respect people who's older than him. Number one, and Costa also, my opinion, respect the rules established around him. If, for example, in COP, and I've always argued, and in fact, he made my point this morning, that not everything he argued for in COP, that he's successful. I'll give you an example, and I think I ran you and LPR out of the station the other time, and I'm going to try not to run you out tonight, but I'll just give you a little bit. COP is an entity. Costa is an individual, even though he's a chairman. So Costa, for months, was going on his podcast. George, we have to step down. This demonstration, referring to the past demonstration, that this demonstration, this protest is about we are stepping down. And so when they got to the meeting, I'm suspecting, got to the meeting, COP said, no, this is not what we want. We want to present a petition, but step down is not part of it. And when COP presented their letter to the Justice Ministry, that particular phrase, we have stepped down, was not part of it. Why? Because Costa is an individual with one voice, one vote.
But is it fair to say? Is it fair to say the strategy by Costa, was that purposeful? Was that something he purposed to do in order to energize? Because that was his base were also calling for the president. Isn't that calculated? Don't you see that as a calculated move?
What you're asking me to do is to go in the mind of Costa, and I don't want to go crazy.
No, we are trying to survey and profile the context in which he was speaking to collaborate with what his supporters was also yearning for.
What I believe, and if you were what Costa, the position Costa is in now, if you represent that scenario right back to Costa, that Josh we have step down statement will not come out of Costa. I don't believe that.
Strongly believe
no, I don't see it coming anymore, because Costa, he has a different position now, where he cleared it on his mind that many Liberians are speaking through him, and there are certain things that somebody who is not speaking for many Liberians with different characters. You got foolish people like me who say, okay, Costa is speaking for me. You got sensible people, highly intelligent that he's also speaking for. So now with the mix of that brood, Costa is able to look among them and say, okay, this is the position that I'm going to be. And many Liberians are now, here's what they're doing. They're also praying for Costa to get this thing right. And one of the things they want to make sure that he gets right is that in his uttering, what comes out of his mouth does not become degrading to so many Liberians, but does not become something that many Liberians might not be proud of.
Is that something you're going to do? Because that has been my problem. Most of the things that he speaks to,
I truly believe with the prayers of many Liberians, that is possible. That is possible because Costa himself will attest to the power of prayer. And so as many Liberians as praying for Costa to make sure this thing is right. And I think one of the things that is in this being right is the idea of insulting, the idea of cussing, those kinds of stuff are not things many Liberians will gravitate towards. Okay, and so as intelligent as Costa is, he most likely will accept that and try to make that part of his procedure. The only difficult thing is now you're asking Costa, the radio talk show host, to modify his position. That's going to be a kabuki dancing that I'm waiting to see, Mr. So that's going to be very interesting. But again, prayer is powerful, and there are many Liberians that continue to pray that this newfound voice of Liberian that is done correct with dignity, and that Liberian will be proud to call it their own.
That's what you're going to do. All right, we will try to see it. We are on the news system here. We'll try to see whether the phone line is going to work here. But quickly here, you listen to the excerpts of the Vice President. I'm not going to play the video here. The Vice President speech here. That shows to me something is not sealed up within the ruling establishment. And part of that was my time that I sat with the Vice President a year ago in her office. And that was very strange for a person with high-profile political position to say, I do not want to talk politics. The Vice President is speaking out now. It seems to be a little outburst. It seems to be it is spilling out now. How can we scale this relationship? 2023 is right around the corner. 2020 senatorial race is right around the corner. We're going to be coming to Youngblood, Mona Youngblood. I see her potentially to go against Darius Dillon because one of the reasons CDC lose that was they never had a formidable candidate. The name, the identity, the name identity was an issue with what her name said. What the lady name? Help me out here, liberal.
What's the name? You mean the one that went against
Dillon?
Was Dillon's?
Oh my goodness. Paulita weird.
Yeah, something.
But let's come to the VP here. Do you think this deal will ever be sealed out with the two big doors in the country? Do you think that this deal will be sealed up? Do you see all going?
Yes, I see compromise from the ranking file of Dr. Weir Inner Circle because they have no other choice. Because if they don't do that, continue to have these kinds of wrangling, as the Vice President correctly stated about them, have these kinds of wrangling about them, then it's going to be difficult to convince many Liberians to them seek next election. Now, the Vice President also stated that the President, while he goes around and said, I have nothing against the Vice President, she hasn't done anything, but she also is under the impression that the President is not doing enough to quiet his henchmen that are going after her. And I think that's a very bad situation. Because believe it or not, and I'm one of those that was on that, and I'm still under the impression that Dr. Weir really didn't need Madam Taylor to win. Dr. Weir was popular. He was going to win. Whether he picked Samson Tool to be a vice president or pick a dog catcher to be excuse the language, to be the vice president, he was still going to win. But the mere fact that he decided to go after this lady to be the vice president. There's something that he saw within her.
Do you
And
think
that,
do you think they knew one another too well politically? Their ideas. Do you think their ideas blended before even coming to together first? Because those are things that you're supposed to really know, study it, and see who you want to have a vice president that you can work with. But I see here from what I discussion that I have with the vice president and see the folks supporters of the CDC, there seems to be some sort of insecurity here that the vice president is higher up there in terms of how she articulates and address issues, unlike Dr. Weah here. So that sort of inferiority complex is in the making. Do you see that as one of the reasons the supporters or people that are close to the president keep pushing her away? Because I strongly believe what is true, I have some issue with her comments in the past and some of her position, but I think that she was being a good asset to this administration. But that seems not to have been the case, and she has been quiet, and that will politically hurt her. As a matter of fact, now she's speaking. I don't know whether it's a good strategy, staying away from section, all of that. Is that a workable strategy?
yeah, I think it's going to work because here's what I suspect. Before asking the madam to join Dr. Weah team, remember now that Dr. Weah used to work with her in the Senate. And so Dr. Weah, being a smart person as he is, quickly recognized that this lady has the ability, political ability, to move things forward. And I think that's one of the things that gravitated him towards her. Now, remember also, the vice president, when it comes to Liberians and many other Liberians, that she's not just somebody that's walking in the park. Remember her statement. It's our time to eat. Whether you like it or not, we will eat. So she's not quite of a.
But she's not eating now. So is that fair to say she was eating then, but she's not eating now? She wants to cry wolf.
Now they are Liberians now that say, you see, that's why you get if you don't. If you just get into something, we are all time to eat. If you ain't like it, you can forget it. Or go sit down. You better join. If you want to eat, you better join CDC. Those were the statements now. Those are the statements that she made. And I believe strongly she made those statements hoping that she will find a true partner in the Dr. Weah and his people. But very quickly, after all of those things were made, and apparently after they have gotten what they wanted, they decided now to push her one side, and she can be pushed. First thing, she's highly educated, and she's connected, international community, and that's one of the things she was saying. Why is it, with my experience, that I'm not being utilized in a way that will benefit this government? And I think Dr. Weah and his people better listen to that.
Okay, well, that's we'll try to open the lines here, folks. We're now opening the lines. The number to call is 682-433-8802. And of course, you can have your say it on this network here. We always allow people's voices to be heard if you want to participate. And again, I would say it's a new system that we are using, so just in case if it doesn't go well, it's not on purpose, but you can call 682-433-8802. There was somebody that called before, but I was in the process of having this conversation. 682-433-8802, and we will try to bring you, try to profile, talk on some of these high coal issues that is affecting our country. And let's see, hopefully we all can find a common ground on this. I'm talking with the liberal progressive of the Liberia Public Radio, Samson Blackwood Brown. Tour is based in Sacramento, California. That's the studio beat of the Liberia Public Radio. So if you want to form part of this conversation, the number to call is 682-433-8802, and we will try to get your take as well. Penon, you set the stage for her, and for the first time, I usually don't agree with a liberal guy like you because sometimes your way of analyzing things is so appealing. That sort of Nancy Pelosi way of doing stuff here, that sometimes it's annoying, but you kind of got it right yesterday. But do you think she is setting her stage? Because those are the soundbites seditions love to. Those are the things, those are the playbook of CDC. That's get them to be where they are today. That seems to suggest to me, potentially, if CDC is to gain ground of a stronghold, that was a shocking one for them in the special senatorial race. The possibility of Mona Penuntai to step up to the task for the senatorial is most likely imminent. Do you see her going forward to that?
It's possible. It's possible. I don't know the inner working of CDC and how they're going to square that because for me, Paulina, I think her name is, will be somebody that will be in line for the next election.
Is she a winnable candidate? That's the thing, guys. She did
Yeah, but you can't. You see, Mr. So these are type of stuff that people, you conservatives, would try to suggest, and for me, liberal, these are difficult things to swallow. Yes, a lady. Yes, a lady who have worked so hard, even though she was not successful. Even though she was not successful.
Yeah, Samson, are you hearing me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Let me see. I don't know what that's Samson. Samson, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm not sure whether this fellow. Let me see whether. Caller, are you there? No. Caller, are you there? Caller, are you hearing me? Oh, okay. Because we on a different line. I'm not sure whether this person. Are you still getting me, Samson?
All the time. I'm here.
Yeah, I'm trying to see whether this person here, unfortunately, unless if the person will call you on Skype, maybe because that's two different audio. We were technicians who will try to figure that out here. So if we don't, because I will hear you, apparently I don't know whether you will hear the person. Let me see whether you can hear the person. Caller, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Okay. I'm not sure. Something, are you hearing the person?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
So I think
you are hearing the question, no?
No.
Okay.
You can just relay the question to me, and I'll be.
Okay. What's the question? We just at a new system yet. Hopefully, we'll work on that to see what we can get. If you are on Skype,
sir, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead, and then I will relay the question to him because he's on a different line. We're on a Skype, so I think it's just not compatible to get here. But I can send a question. Or what's your? Do you have a question for him, or you have something to say?
Hello. Can you hear me?
I'm hearing you. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Go ahead. Hello? 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 Okay. Samson, go ahead.
But anyway, the point that I was making is that on a very serious note, Paulina, I'm not too sure how to pronounce her name, so please forgive me. But the point that I was making, she fought hard, she didn't win, and now Madam Youngblood, if she was to come in to say she wants to take it up, so I think one of the things that they need to do, CDC will have to do, and for it to be fair, is to have some sort of a primary.
Let me see here what I can change something here, do some technical work here, hopefully, because to see what I can get an audio from elsewhere and bring it in. Probably that will work because the line we are on, so maybe, hold on, folks, please bear with me. If not today, we can hopefully do it another time. But please, okay, please bear with us. I want to see here, if possible, if we can get something. But you know, I don't think I can get it done today. That's going to take a time. To run the possibility, we're going to talk the station manager to see if we can work on it.
Can we have the station manager call my number and see if it because my number is connected to let me see here. Just hold on 1 minute, Mr. So, and see if it's possible at all. Let's see. Just tell me if you hear this.
Okay,
here.
so Samson, do this. What? Let's do this. Just mute your Skype. Just mute your Skype now. Since we want to take call, I'm just getting the message from the station manager. He's making sure everything is done perfectly. Mute your Skype button and call on the LPR number, and that means we're going to route you through here. So let me see. Let me just let me see what I can call you. Mute your Skype, and I will call you on the LPR number. And then when they call you, hopefully, it can work out. Let's see here. Hopefully that happens. All right. So can you call on the LPR number? Or let me call your number. Something is that possible? Hello. Yeah, are you there, Zina? Yeah, hold on 1 second. I'm trying to figure out something here. So can you guys hold on 1 minute while I get this thing fixed? Okay? Yeah, just hold on 1 minute. Let me get it fixed and then I can get you guys in. Okay. Samson, are you there? Samson too.
You haven't called me yet.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, hold on 1 sec. You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. You are you hearing me, Samson? No, no echo. Okay, so folks, I call on this number. You getting me perfect, Samson? Okay. All right. So let's see here. Hopefully it will work. And let's see it. Zina, the other 212 number, call here and let's see it. Hopefully we can get this going using that's the station manager. He's there monitoring. That's good. Okay. So probably we're having guests and we can route in this form yet. Samson, I don't know why your video call what off. Oh, all you should do was to mute the mic. That's all, not to cut it off. Really? Okay. Okay. Let me see here. Let me just see here, and I can. Okay. So okay, hold on, guys. Just bear with us here. Let's see. And I can hopefully call Mr. Toe, and Mr. Toe will be able to get this here. Yeah, I think you went off. All right. So let me just call you. I'm gonna be calling you via Skype, and just mute your volume. Let me see. I'm Alfonso Ziensot of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. Please bear with us. We are trying to get this yet, and hopefully it will be okay. All right, let me see. Okay, it's something. Let me try again one more time. All right, something I'm trying to reach out. Okay, something is not picking up. Okay, guys who wanted to make a comment, just call and we'll bring you guys in. And maybe something can call on the phone. And until management, we can figure out something. Just call and we will be able to bring you on. Zenat and the other number here that we're calling. Just call here and let's see here before we wrap up. Just to be fair to give you guys the shot. And hopefully, technicians, we're going to do everything possible to work this out as well. But let me see what I can call this guy here. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, caller?
Hello? Yes?
Okay, let me just bring you. What's your name and where you calling from?
My name
is Vanny Mbappe. I'm calling from New York, New York.
Okay, hold on. Something is calling back here. I don't know why. Hold on 1 second. Something, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah. But then I put the other guy on. Can you call me into regular instead of the Skype?
Okay, that's
Yeah,
fine.
just call me in the regular. Okay. Let me just. Okay, caller, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, and I guess you've been listening to the conversation here. What's your own concern as well? What's your contribution? Yeah.
And usually I'm a listener to your program. I love it
Mm.
because you are very objective compared to your guests that I saw. And that's what make me glue to call in immediately.
Uh-oh.
So if
So,
I can just get a gist of your topic, then I can take part.
but
Now,
you won't even get a J. You already finished taking inside. You said again. Or is it on
oh,
pa-
seriously, I know him. To be friend, I know him very well. And that's why when I saw you on your show, I was very glad to be able to interact with him. But I've been
But
wondering because I had two questions for him before I can.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
My first question is I know you to be Mr. Two. Are you a journalist?
Let me see it. Hold on 1 second, guys. Are you guys, Mr. Yellat and the folks, Mr. Toa, coming 1 second? I want to know whether the audio from my guest is coming through as well because with this on temporary here. Is the audio perfect, guys? Listening, especially from the guests. I want to make sure so that you can form part of this. If not, so I will know how to make the adjustment. Is the audio from the guest okay? Somebody will hopefully respond. Mr. Toa, you want to you want to go ahead to answer?
Yes, 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 yes. I am a journalist, a trained engineer, by the way, a
Okay,
real
good, Rob.
trained, real school trained engineer, but I am also a journalist.
Thank you very much. There was another question, but I will hold that yet. One thing I wanted to also know.
No, but no, you can't do that. You cannot do that. I think that's going to be violating the rules set here. If you
Uh,
ask me, what is the purpose of asking
Okay.
about my
so,
journalistic background?
so
My purpose of asking you whether you were a journalist is that based on your the way you analyze, based on your analysis, because I've been monitoring you for the past week, I found out that you are biased and divisive. You don't balance stories.
so,
Your analysis are all one-sided. And so that's what got me concerned.
so,
That's why I
So, so,
just
so
so,
then what part of that? Let's
yeah,
just give it to
something,
you
Mr.
as
Toll.
indication.
Let me ask you too, because what we do here, we also participant callers, including people who tweet online. We also, including ourselves, we should be held accountable. And it's good that you caught whatever way you feel here. But when you talk about he's being biased, he's not being objective. What specifically has he said seems not to be true? And you found out that maybe his comments or his analysis was just not in place. What is there anything that in mind that you want to share with us?
the whole thing, what on my mind, first of all, is about the coastal sagas
Mm.
that have been circulating in our Liberian setting. I've been monitoring him. All his analysis have been based on the goal that Costa keep scoring on the government. So that's what got me. I've been trying to call, to take part on his program,
Mm.
but I've not been fortunate because I wanted to know from him if a fugitive, somebody who have been known as a fugitive and now all over the world,
When was that
wanted by the
established?
government.
He says, are you saying you say Costa is a fugitive?
He's a fugitive by the Liberian government.
When was that?
He's wanted in Liberia. So if he can, I wanted to know how can a fugitive be
No, let's get it right.
on a certain government.
Let's get it right. We all have followed what has unfolded in the country, but when you say it's a fugitive, there was note. Costa was called in for the statement, and I also have concerns. In as much he has gone in, I strongly feel that he should have ended whatever he started. That did not happen. And I just call the Solicitor General. Right now, what has happened, if you listen to the BIN, the Bureau of Immigration, I was so pissed. And that just brings me to the point of the government ineffectiveness to wage. While it is true the government has the right to know who is entering, who is leaving, and it's all of national security. But if you listen to the BIN, the Bureau of Immigration's interview yesterday by the commissioner, by this time he should have been on maybe on administrative leave, but that has not happened. I have not seen anything. The government just only requested when Costa was in Sierra Leone that he should be returned. And under the Sierra Leone laws, it also says somebody should be criminally charged, right, before that can happen. And the government has just not been able to do that. Let's be honest here, the government has not been able to do that. And that's part of the problem here.
Mr.
Zion,
Yeah.
as you can recall, Costa was told to report at the NIS office on a particular date.
Mr. So,
yeah. Okay, something when you finish, I'll bring you in.
And according to the information, if he does not report at that date, on that time, he was declared a fugitive. So that's why we talk. That's why
so what yeah, so what was the crime? What was the crime that was labeled against him?
The crime against Costa was he had a forged or let's say passé. He had a forged traveling document. And that case was not analyzed. It was not, they did not come up to conclusion. And then he failed to exonerate himself. And then he escaped.
But so let's get my brother, let's get it, let's get it right. You know, I myself, there are some issues, comments of Mr. Costa that I'm very, very much uncomfortable with, and that defeated purpose of his argument, which most of them are genuine, but the manner in which it's being channeled. But let me just bring in something because Mr. Toh here, let him speak for himself before I can come to that. 601, hold on 1 second. Let me bring in Mr. Toh. Mr. Toh, are you there?
Yes, I am, Mr. So, and I appreciate it, brother, coming out. And that's why we encourage here on La Grande Public Radio for people to come out and express themselves freely without hindrance or whatsoever. And in fact, the reason why I asked the brother to tell me why he wanted to know my journalistic background and what have you, that's fine. That's fine. I'm glad he's challenging me. That's okay. But the point here is this. If you're going to come up on the international platform as such to challenge people, you most likely will be better off to do your homework and not just, even if it's coming from the government, don't just accept it. And these are some of the reasons why it's so difficult for us to come and find ways to bridge this divide. Because there are certain people who have been on one side or the other, will not compromise, will not accept anything other than what they want and what their truth should be. And then you're not going to have it because we're all different individuals. Whether we see one thing eye to eye or not, there will be things that we must agree that we're going to disagree on. And this is one of those. But for now, they come out here and say everything that I've been saying in the last week or so, my positions being biased or whatever, that's his perspective. But I want the brother to also understand why he has that right for his opinion and what have you. There are many Liberians who are also saying, Mr. Toh, what you say is correct. What is the divide? What is the bridge that we're going to put down here for this divide? And so, my brother, I'm not quarreling with you. Those are your opinions. They have nothing to, they will not affect me because at this point, I know who I am and I can hold my own. So thank you for your criticism and whatever it is that I'm doing wrong, I will try my best to find it. If there's something that I need to fix, I will fix it. But thank you for your criticism and I take it very, very much to be what it is, which is your opinion and you're entitled to it.
All right. Okay. So let's see here. And you will still speak. 212. You still have something to say before I bring in the next person?
Well, Mr. Zion, like
Hmm.
I said, you have been very objective since I've been following you compared to your guests. And that's why it make me to draw that conclusion because all your analysis have been balanced. You always, yes, you have been balanced compared to your
So do
guests.
you see him? He
When you
leaning
see
on.
me
Mhm.
emphasizing on his biases, that's the reason. So since he said, even though everybody will not agree, like he said, because there are always people on opposite side.
Mhm.
But I just wanted to say thank you at least for for um, for allowing me to
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 express
tell him my
your
yeah
feelings, right?
express my own grievances
Mm.
about his whole about his way of broadcasting or analyzing as the situation unfold in Liberia. And the best we can wish for is our country. This is not about Costa, it's not about me, it's not about him, it's not about you, Mr. So, and neither the
You know,
president. It's
yeah.
all about our country. When you
Right.
see us, trying to brainstorm and strategize. It's all about our country, Mr. Tu.
Mm.
And I'm so glad again I learned that he's an engineer. I myself, I'm an engineer.
I
But
see.
I don't know what kind of
So you know what
engineer
we're
he
gonna,
is.
what
I
we're
am
gonna
an
do?
architect.
Hey, go and get
So
your number. We come and put you all together, so we're sending you out to Labrador to see you, but to see. But look, on a serious note, right? On a serious note, on this network here,
yeah,
this is why our tone, our language here, we try to season it. We do not tell our hosts our anger when you go on air. This is why you need to say to satisfy people. They do their own due diligence. They assess the situation. Somebody was asking why you can't go to the government. Of course. I was in Liberia a year ago, my dear brother. It's not just only the government officials, the opposition. People feel comfortable where they think they can go and have a free pass. Numerous times, the Samson told, the Manzola Gisi, all the hosts, we have extended invitation over and over, both the government, the opposition. Certain time we heard that they were giving holy what oil in the church. We are church. When I went to Liberia, I visited a church. And we have the video. I visited a church. I asked the pastor, Pastor Nimland, to grant us an interview. We went at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the fourth floor, and we asked all of these tough questions. That's how it's supposed to be. But when we have our leaders who are unwilling, who are not comfortable to go to certain places to answer certain questions, it makes it difficult. And that, in that case, then journalists will begin to speculate on things and things that are here, and all we want to do is to bring them over, but we're hoping that they will also make themselves available so that we can have this conversation. But I can tell you, Samson Toa, he's not like those type. Even though he's a liberal guy, I do not buy into liberal idea that much, but I always do his due diligence when he comes on the network. But it's today you say I'm mad, the next day other people to call me in different ways. Say, oh, that man, yeah, in fact, he's CDC agent. But that's who we are. We speak our minds. What is right is what we say because we want the best to come out of Liberia. Thank you so much.
thank you.
All right.
I will sit and listen.
Okay, sure. Anything you can call back. We'll soon be wrapping up here. Okay,
All
six
right.
yeah 61610 number. Are you there, caller?
Yeah, I'm here. This Fred.
Hey, Mr. Talut. Good evening and welcome. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. How are you doing too?
Great. How are you? And I'm bad. We're here as usual at the Talking Drum Studio. Okay, I guess you've been following the program, right?
Yeah, I've been listening. I've been following you for a few weeks. I follow something too. It's just that I've not had the time to. I only let it come when it's open mic. When you
Oh,
don't have, you
yeah.
don't have
so
people
so
that
you were
you.
unleashed, right? Okay, so let's mark that is open here. Let's post on. Let's see the up here this evening. What are your concerns? I've been seeing some tweet also been coming out of you.
Oh no, mine. I don't have a concern. It's just that I listen to you. I listen to Samson,
Mm.
and sometimes Um, this is the government that is in Liberia. Liberia is a country that is owned by all of us. Sometimes I am When I listen to most of our radio journalists or our Facebook journalists or whatever journalists we have there, sometimes, I mean, you just focus saying that the government sometimes they don't want to come to you or the official. Sometimes you try to get them to come on the show, they don't want to come. But the question to you too is how many programs have you carried on your network that talks about some of the positive that this policy the government has instituted? You know, because it always cannot be the negative side. I mean, you can choose to say, well, we don't want to put the negative because I think the negative outweigh the positive. You can choose to do that. But sometimes you look at some of the policy, like I wrote yesterday, and when I wrote what I wrote, people were thinking that I was making it up. I wasn't making it up. I listened to what's the name, uh, Belong himself on his own video when he was presenting his $12,000 back to Montserrat County. He said because of the harmonization, the salary dropped to 10,400 and some odd dollars, and after taxes, they were getting somewhere between 76 or $7,700. So then I wrote, I said, oh, the harmonization is taking effect because now we're not talking about 15,000 salary for senators, we're talking about 10,000, and that's a positive step, you know. Um, Other people can, oh, why you say this and that, but I was talking, what the senator himself said. In fact, when the senator gave back the $12,000, I think I was one of the first person to commend him for that, for keeping his campaign pledge. So I'm only saying this to you, Mr. Soul. Sometimes, you look at something that is positive, like even the fishery deal, uh, that is being signed or what is they trying to sign. Those are positive things, because out of our ocean, there are a lot of fish that we don't eat, something that we only start seeing here, but that people are taking, and sometimes these people go and take them and sell them to international markets and make money out of it because we don't know about them. So when the fishery industry is being, bringing the World Bank is trying to bring it up so that we'll get other revenues from on our side of this spectrum. I think these are things all you don't want to watch for things that will make people the people that you think want to listen to you or listen to you. The whole Costa thing. Uh, I don't know how a well-meaning Liberian would think that, you know, Costa was even in any right. I mean, you went to the country. If this government have all right, even we that have solutions. Sometimes when Costa goes back to Liberia and get in his car and do all that thing, like you go back to the country where you get in car and people going for you to the airport and they drive you around. When he does all that thing, it's bad us. But the government
So,
has been very, very pragmatic. They never one day bother him unless he wants to get outside. This guy, he just want to provoke and provoke and provoke so that somebody will bother him. Okay, you went in the country, they say you enter with a falsified document. You say it's not true. Why don't you go to the investigation? No,
look,
if
Mr.
you,
Guion,
yeah,
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 here's the thing here. And I will say this here. For us here, I can speak for our network, not any other network here. We are a different type of people. We are not in a business nor for the government or the opposition, so antagonize people. But this is the thing. We are not the popular relation arm of the government. It's true. There are a lot of good things happening. But who best can articulate or can sell, or we also have concern as to how the process has been executed. So if we reach out to these people, and not just only the government, the opposition as well, as long they somehow perceive that you are not playing into their hands, or maybe you one of those against or whatever it is, but I may have some apprehensions about the policies, or there are more questions that I need to know, I mean answers that I need. It would be good for them, especially when people extend them the invitation. One of the person that I can really trust and who is forthcoming is Serena Cephas. Any hour, midnight, anytime you send him a text here, he will be called, he will be he will be responsive. Whether the answer is right or not, that's part of it. Talking about something, not a single day, especially something when it comes to roads, constructions, or all of that. We can do little. We don't want to be perceived as people who just either talk to be the mouthpiece of the government or mouthpiece of the opposition. No, but we can talk on those good things. But in order to expand, to give the audience the
Mr. So,
opportunity to, we need to have these people who are in authority so that they can answer some questions. And so we hope that they will be open to that, because it's like you said, it's all about Liberia. So that's why we are very cautious of the kind of language or tone that we project on this network. Yeah, Samson, go ahead. Maybe in the next 5 minutes I'll be wrapping up here, because I know we came on late.
Let me add on there too as well.
Yeah, sure. And then I think one person there. Yeah, go ahead quickly.
Let me add on that, President Guillaume. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. You as a true founding member of CDC. I'm not talking about Johnny Club at night or whatever. You are one of the true founding member of CDC that we know. However, you asked a question: what have you done to promote positive things the government have done? In recent time. About last week, I took my whole show for over 2 hours. When the president went all over the city, this whatever for his pet project that he puts up in Monrovia, inspecting them, I talked about those things for over 2 hours. However, my perspective was from an engineer standpoint, and some of the things that was done that are not correct, I pointed those things out. But in the process, I will continue to insist that Dr. Weir focus. His policy is to bring in development. Now, those who are charged to carry on the process are those that are failing the entire thing, and that was my engagement with that. Now, another thing I want you to also understand is that the government has been doing some wonderful things. There's no question asked. But whenever they do something that will at least give some of us the opportunity to carry out and talk about the pro-poor agenda and what have you, they will come up with something of false error that will cause us to pivot to that, because that's what people talk about and that's what people want to hear. I give you an example. When I did that show for over 2 hours and I opened my line, only one person that called and talked about the project. The rest of the day, which I said specifically I wasn't going to talk about, everyone was talking about Costa. So those are things Liberia were paying attention to. Okay, so and furthermore, the people that are somehow connected with the government, whatever, they have the right to promote. We're not going to see something that is not right.
Yeah, but Mr. Tool, let me ask you this question, and I'm being honest when I ask this question. Why is it, and you can tell me, why is it that you will find more people that pro-government will go on Gibson Jeru show and go on my God, give my show? And when you ask question, almost 60-70% of the question they ask will be questions that support the government. And on your show, only one person will come. You think why is that?
Well, the reason what I suspect is that when I've talked about the government and show the government projects, promoting the project, and only one person will come and talk about it, the rest is about cluster. I don't know. I can't tell you there's a specific reason and what have you. And what I'm not about to do is to change my tone of show, change the way, the style of my show to favor the government. And for some reason, maybe Gibson, Michael Gilman, and the rest of people talk about the government, so other people gravitate towards that. That's not my thing to do. I say what I believe to be the truth, and I analyze it from that perspective. People who want to listen to me will join me. In fact, there's something on Facebook you can do very quickly. Click, and you're out of there. And that's the opportunity that everyone has. So I really can't answer that.
We hope to continue, but here is the deal here, Mr. Guyon. Part of that is people already have always preconceived mind, and they always determine within their own mind which network they go to and what they intend to hear, what they want to hear. It's always like that. You will never see the politics in Liberia is almost as here. It's a divided house. And so yet you will find the Republican Fox News will be their own channel they will go to. You will find some people going up to MFBC when they think they want to promote Democrat. You see some people going to CNN. I think all of those they are the beauties of democracy. But we here we intend to keep it safe and to have our national leaders, and we always say it consistently over and over. Not just on the government. Being an opposition does not give you the pass that you should just walk free, and we have said that in as much cost. Of course, every citizen has going to Liberia. You must enter that country genuinely to a legal document. It doesn't matter whatever, but you must go through the process because that's where government will get her revenue. Whether you're paying $5, $20, that's sufficient. I want to know whether there was a flag receipt. But yeah, it's the frustrating part of it. And the laziness on the part of the security forces, because I can say, and when I listen to Oliver Kahn and other folks as to how that thing came out, I just thought government would have used that time to do her due diligence, contact their Ghanaian counterpart, do a good trail of that laissez-passer there, where it came from, who issued it, where the money went, who was the person that processed it, and get all of those funding. And hey, this is what we get, and have a major conference to also give people the understanding that the government is just doing her work, and it's all about national security because any other person can go in that country any kind of way, and we don't know. So, for instance, Costa had gone there, and government are raising an eyebrow. Suppose something ugly had been smuggled into that country, and they waited after all of these years until leaving and said, now we are saying, and I'm quite sure you listened to that press conference by the immigration chief. That alone killed the entire case of this whole thing to be so much security present to just open up like this, and your generosity to suspect and this and that. That's it. But we're going to find time to have all of these discussions.
Yeah, but just give me 30 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds. Yeah, so I will talk to the other guy.
Seconds, please.
Yeah, sure.
I just want to say that apparently we all have forgotten where Liberia came from. And that's why for me, when I talk, all my blame go back to the previous government because all of these things, our security apparatus, our system, the police, this and that, all of those things should be at least above all of that now. Mm-hmm. I always told people when you get money in Liberia, no court case can win you because you can bribe all the jurors, you bribe the judge, you get judge $1,000 you happy. And, I hosted a very powerful man in his town, not in my house, but I ought to get a hotel room from him. He's one of the powerful men in Liberia. On the airport, and when that man sat with me and talked, I cried for Liberia, and that's where our country is. You can't blame the apparatus we have in our country. Things are just not the way they're supposed to be, and I don't know whether the government is going to get us there, but with the noise and everything that's going on, they don't even have.
So who you think should, Mr. Guyan? So who you think should lead this sort of huge task? And I understand this has been from generation to generation, but who you think should work towards in leading or in that direction? Who should take the lead?
Well, the government right now is the bigger problem we have because I blame. When you come from war, you see the Rwanda that is over to the everybody making Rwanda. The same amount of money Rwanda got. Or almost the same amount of help Rwanda got when they came from war is the same amount of help we got. It's just that amount of help went into big salary into people's pockets. You have for United Nations in the country for 12 years. What you're supposed to be doing when you have United Nations security forces, building your own apparatus, because now when United Nations leave, they should be ready. But no, we didn't do that. What is there? So when we say that again, it's you're going back to the old thing. You knew all of that before you ran. But the continuity we are talking about. Mr. Toh just talk about substandard roads. Mr. Toh, we have to get used to substandard roads, substandard bridges, because Liberia, to me, I think we're still in the 18th century. So think way back. Can you imagine Air Liberia was better in 1970 than the way it's looking now? Air Liberia. I saw a manuscript for Air Liberia where they have flight leaving from Montreal to Zredru, from Zredru to Cape Town, from Cape Town to Sano, from Sano back to Zredru than before. Do we have any of that? That's what they call the spoil of war. That's when you come from war, whoever take over the country the very first time, you have to be patriotic enough to lay a good foundation.
So how long here, quickly here, another 30 seconds, how long can we consistently go with it? Because if we say, okay, it got spoiled in 4, 5, 10 years ago because of other leaders are there and somebody is there is not taking the bull by the horn. So, I mean, there's going to be the sort of excuse that Liberian people will be seeing from time to time.
Well, Saturday, it could be, it might not be, because it depends who you have as president and what kind of resources they're getting. The country is begging for everything. We'll get $3.5 million or $3.7 million project, Alfonso, we dance. we dance for $3.7 million project. So just that should tell you, it's not $1 billion though. It's not even 500 million. They give $40 million. The country is happy. Everybody thinking of big news.
Okay.
It's
All
okay.
right. This talking Trump will continue. Mr. Goyen, thank you. Hopefully, you will pick up time
Okay.
here. And for some
Then I
of
know you
you,
can go. You can have open mics on Tuesday. I think I'll be coming on
yeah,
Tuesday.
yeah. Sometimes we have, I guess. Sometimes we make appointment with people and then they want to ask us which type of questions to ask, and we really don't have patience for that. It's kind of difficult because, like you here, we're talking, and maybe you will say something that would need a follow up. But if I time and say and restrain myself to say I'm going to ask him, what your name is, Goyen, where you live, Philadelphia, how long you be here, 10 yet? No, then people are going to be boring.
For me,
We
for
just
all
wonder.
this online show, we just want objectivity. Be objective, as you discuss. If it's blue, say it's blue. If it's green, say it's blue.
You know,
But
people subjective and objective view. This is something because sometimes it depends on people. There are some people, I don't care how you try to make it objective. They say, oh no, that man he this way. When you throw it this way, but we try to do the best we can, and this is why sometimes when information comes out, we try to go to the direct source because anybody can post anything on the Facebook, even if I read on front page this and that. All of us, we always try to get to the bottom line. All right, Mr. Goyen, thank you. Let me bring in Zina here quickly to make.
Mr. So.
All right, and I'm looking forward to having you again. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, Zina, are you there? 2 minutes here, because I know you've been patient here. But what? I know we're wrapping. We came on late and extremely out of time here. I want to beg my guest, the liberal progressive, to make his closing statement before I sign off here this evening. But are you listening to the program? You listen to some callers and what have you? What's going through your mind?
Yeah, I think as a patriotic Liberian, it would make sense to me when you appreciate the good side of somebody, or when you talk the good things about somebody, use that same wisdom to talk about the bad part of the person. Yeah, one of the callers said earlier, who inside, dude? Who inside? One of the callers said earlier that Mr. Tu is biased. I really don't buy that holistically, but I think he's sort of like not majority, but little bit biased sometimes from mine, especially because he talked more about like maybe of Costa or even George Weah and ignore the bad part of them. And I think that's very important. When you do that, we just sit here and listen and watch, we kind of notice that. Because I listen to Mr. Tu most of the time. He praised George Weah, which I do admire. He's a brilliant brother. And I applaud him for that. But if you always praise a president who go abroad to seek resources and divert that into a personal use, if you always praise a president, call him a doctor, how smart he is, who sleep with other people's wives and gave them job, and these are all impeachable offenses.
Who you guys?
These are all impeachable offenses.
Who was caught sleeping with people? Where, man? You're probably going to talk BBT now.
The record is out there.
Well,
the hierarchy of, and they didn't deny that. The hierarchy of the party spoke on that.
Mr. So.
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt about Mr. Zina. I don't mean to interrupt, but I think your point that you're making about me, then I think the audience now will know that Mr. Cho is very, very much straightforward person. And because the few minutes before you came off, there was another guy who said Mr. Cho is biased against the government. Now you're saying that I'm here praising the government or praising somebody who's doing X, Y. The point that I want you to make, and then want to make it, then you can finish your statement very quickly, is this. When we see it, we call it as it is. All of the things, for example, you're making, the president go abroad and come back with pure money. I have no evidence. I can't come out here, not that I don't read these things or never heard of the tape. The tape itself, can you have that as admissible evidence in the court of law? I don't think so. I'm not a lawyer, but I don't think so. Number one. Secondly, I don't know that the president go abroad, come back with money and divert it for himself. I can't make that pronouncement on a intellectual platform like mine. Not that I don't read them. But I can't make those things because first of all, I have no proof.
Okay,
And
folks.
the fact that I have no proof, I can't say it.
Okay, I'm extremely against time here now. So Zina, go to your point, and I think we're going to have this conversation. Let's we want to welcome our man from Bangat, Bertin Tino. Yeah, go ahead.
I do steady law, so I got a little knowledge on that. But we're not going to dwell on that today. It comes to Mr. Costa. You hear Mr. Costa, it's a good thing. I'm not against what you do most of the time, but just I've got to point out the bad part about, and not just point out the good thing always. Mr. Costa, I think he's a smart dude. I do admire that, but it doesn't make me to ignore the radical part of him. Well, you guys don't have time to go through the details of some of these things, so not to waste any time.
I'm interested. Costa in Liberia contacted him. Look, when you on your own network, you have the leverage to say, to manipulate, to do things. But sometimes you got to get out of your own comfort zone and see and have these. I'm still, in that invitation is still out there if you can come. So we'll talk on some of these things, but nobody will have the chance. All right, thank you so much. I want to welcome my man Bertin Ike Tinota, the LPR national correspondent in the city of Bangat, Bon County, Republic of Liberia, joining us this late morning hour. Yeah, thank you. Okay, Samson, 1 minute quickly before I wrap up this evening.
Well, Mr. Sam, thank you very much. I don't have much to say either. I just wanted to thank you and appreciate the fact that you allow me the opportunity once again to come on your show and be the guest to give you some point that I truly believe what I was saying. And I don't expect people to accept what I'm saying either. Not everyone. But the fact that they were given the opportunity to express myself, and I appreciate it.
Okay.
We will do our best to make sure this network continue to provide the enlightenment and whatever it is to make sure our audience get the facts here.
All right. Okay, folks.
Thank you very much for the show.
Okay, good. All right, folks. That does it this evening. Again, I'm Alfonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. To our listening audience, we want to thank you so much for being part of this program. Your presence is always of our utmost concern to your tweet, your comment. But remember, whatever said on this network is not the view, opinions of the Liberia Public Radio. We do help to facilitate these conversations. And again, this network here, if you anticipate of hearing something in the interest or maybe without us being to question government or oppositions or the advocacy community, then you are just wrong for the locator. We say it, we speak it as it is. And we are also liable of our comment. This is why we always like to also engage callers and people who make comments, because all of us must have some sort of shared responsibilities to make sure that our country is succeeding. And we are looking forward to open, be it government, oppositions, or any inter-Liberian for that matter, to have a genuine conversations as long as it is in the interest of the Republic of Liberia. Tino, thank you so much. He's our guys doing an extraordinary job in Bangat, Bon County. We are working aggressively, and this is why we want to expand all our activities outside of Monrovia. Monrovia, there are a lot of things happening. Some of the reports, first-hand report that we have received from Bangat, the disabled community, the schools, the clinic, imagines other counties, what is happening. Monrovia is not the Republic of Liberia, and we want the government to get out of her comfort zone, the citizens and all of us, to talk on some of these issues. There are social issues that are affecting the country, but because our focus is so much on the political side, the economic side, the social side that is also impacting and over toward the work of the government, we are not having a conversation. And this is why we try to do now, to pivot in that direction, to go out there and see some of the things that are happening and that you need to know. If you have control over it in addressing it as a citizen of Liberia, if I have control over it, we will do it. Our job is to go out there, bring the news, information, and share with you. And you ultimately made the decision. Until then, I'm Alfonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. Be here tomorrow evening with the Liberal Progressive from Studio B in Sacramento, California, Samson Blakuto. He will be here with his regular editions conversation with Samson Todd. And on Thursday, I will be back with your informative news magazine, All Things Considered, captures out of the happenings during the course of the week from Thursday to Thursday, put into perspective and create that conversation to give you the ability and also the opportunity to speak and talk about things that are impacting and happening in your country. Until then, Have a pleasant evening, and I will talk to you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.